everyone, welcome back. It is Friday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning. We have Karen.
Yep.
So welcome. So we're going to take a bunch of questions, but I just want to always give this disclaimer. Anything that we say is just meant for your entertainment, education, not meant to diagnose you. Before taking any of these tips, just check with your doc, and then you can do your own research. And today, Karen, we are going to be, as we go through this, there's 3 really, really amazing tips that I'm going to give out.
Later in the show, coming up later.
Things that will amplify your success to get massive success. How about that? Is anyone interested? Comment if you're interested. If you're not interested, click off right now.
I'm just still looking for the video on YouTube.
So you look for the video on YouTube as I go right to Marie from Connecticut. You've been waiting patiently, and you had a question about vegetables. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I know for adults you're recommending 7 to 10 cups of vegetables, but I'm sure you can imagine I can't get my 7-year-old to eat that much.
Yeah.
So my first question is, how much do I try to shoot for? Is it per day or is it per meal? And then the other question I had is, as a young adult, had a lot of nosebleeds. I went to juicing, and the nosebleeds went away, but you can imagine I had a lot of other problems. When I switched over to keto, they're back with a vengeance, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, the first thing I want to say is to my producer over there's an echo, so maybe you can fix the echo. Secondly, as far as children goes, I mean, you're not going to do 10 cups of vegetables with these kids. So, I mean, do the best you can. Let's go with like 3 cups, 4 cups. That'll be enough. And the other thing too is, you know, you have cooked vegetables and you have raw vegetables. I like the raw leafy greens, and I like maybe the steamed, like Brussels sprouts, cabbage, that type of thing, because they're just easier to digest, and also you release more phytonutrients if you steam some of these cruciferous vegetables. So, and then also with kids, I like to find out what is their best, what's the thing they like. And that way we can avoid the resistance to giving these kids vegetables. Now, as far as nosebleeds go, you said, I think you had fruit. It was fruit, right? And actually they went away?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's probably a vitamin C thing. As you also improve your insulin resistance by doing healthy keto and intermittent fasting, you actually decrease the need for vitamin C. So that should improve, but you can get your vitamin C from vegetables. Bell peppers have massive amounts. Sauerkraut has massive amounts of vitamin C. So that's usually what causes it. Now, on a rare occasion, it could be a low vitamin D level, but in your situation, I think it's vitamin C deficiency.
Okay.
So try that. And thanks so much for your call, Marie. All right, North Carolina, we got Raj on the line. Are you there? Raj.
Yes, Dr. Berg, can you hear me?
Yeah, with an echo. Echo.
Yeah.
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 That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I know you got your calcium score down to 0. Mine came a calcium score last week of 344.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, and high heart rate. Is it possible for me to get it down, my calcium score to 0? And if so, how do I know if I'm progressing towards my goal or away from it before my next CT scan? Thank you, Dr. Berg.
Well, that's a really good question. Here's what you do. Very simply, what you do is you get on keto. You got to get the basics in. Yes, you're on medication, but you have to get your diet squared away. You have to get a healthy version of keto because you have diabetes. You're on a lot of medications. So you need to get healthy keto in. You need to do intermittent fasting, hands down. You also need to get on a good vitamin K2 to help kind of decalcify things. Another thing that would be good is called EDTA. It's a chelator. That's really good for circulation. And as far as, I think you can dramatically improve it. To what degree, I don't know, because I don't know your history. I don't know what's going on. I don't have your basic data, but I think you can definitely improve it. That's what I would shoot for. But as you implement keto and IF, the need for medication is going to be going down. So just make sure that you get with your doctor to take less and less of that, because you don't want to end up with severe low blood sugars because you're taking diabetic medication is pushing your blood sugars down too low. And I did a video on that. But that's what I would do if I were you. I would take it serious. And I mean, you don't want calcium in your arteries. And for those of you that are new to the channel, there's a calcium test, and it measures your arteries. It's called calcium. It's called calcium. It's called what is it called? Yeah, CAC, calcium
Artery.
No, it's actually
Calcification.
no, it's actually coronary artery calcification.
Calcification.
No, it's not. It's coronary.
CAC.
Karen.
Google it.
It's calcium, coronary artery calcium test. That's it, not calcification. So it's CAC. Go ahead and do the research on that. Watch my videos on that, because there's some great data on what to do to prevent it. You want a score of 0. If it's 900, you're in serious trouble, but you can still improve it. All right, Karen, what do we got on the social media?
Well, it's cool.
platform?
First of all, everybody is saying happy holidays. So thank you. Happy holidays to you, whatever your holiday is. Awesome. And of course, Merry Christmas, because that's what's happening
That's right.
now,
That's
right?
what's coming up.
So then what's catching my eye here is just so much good news this morning from all over the world. I just want to scan down here. 37 pounds down, 70 pounds down, 30 pounds down, 50 pounds down, 40 pounds down. It's just going on and on. 71 pounds down. There's just a lot of weight loss happening here.
Yeah, for those people that don't think that this stuff works, I mean, it really works. I just recently did a little video on the success stories that I have on the site. These are featured success stories. I was literally amazed at the results. People are just, not just losing weight, but man, their whole lives are shifting. So
Right.
it works.
Okay, good. And there are questions. I'm sorry, I just was so shocked
You
by
were
all the. I was
all
just
the success. You're focusing
so
on the
happy
success, and you're
with all
ignoring
these
the questions.
65 pounds down over on Facebook. Just on and on. 37 pounds down.
Well, you just look at some questions. I'm
I'll
going
get
to go
some
to Rhonda.
questions though.
Hey, Rhonda, you're from Missouri. How are you?
Hello, I'm great, and it's so good to talk to both of you. I called in a few weeks ago about the long fast, and I was thinking about doing 30 to 40 days. Anyway, I decided I'm not sure if I'm going to go that long. I'm on day 20, and I am having a few issues. The only thing I'm taking is water, and I add lemon, salt, magnesium, potassium, and then I do add a little sweetener to that, stevia. The thing is I was having some pain, and I couldn't tell if it was my female area or if it was kidneys, and it was radiating kind of my hips and up my back, and it was painful to move. So I was wondering if maybe I was dehydrated. And the thing is, I cannot go without the electrolytes because I have severe cramping.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I noticed, it's causing runs. And then also, sometimes, I forgot to mention, I do take a liquid mineral and vitamin supplement just because and B vitamins. I do take that.
Okay, good.
Because I don't want to lose my hair.
So,
but I have a little bit of bloating
okay.
also.
So here's the thing. One of the things that, for those of you that are thinking about doing prolonged fasting, it's a really amazing, beneficial thing for your health, because your body goes in this interesting repair action, starts to heal everything. But if you haven't built up your nutrients, you're going to have to take nutrients throughout this thing. It wouldn't hurt, Rhonda, to go get a test, a blood test, just to see if everything is cool. Make sure there's nothing deficient, because it'll actually, it's almost good to do supervised type prolonged fasting. So that way you can have someone coach you through it just to measure your levels, because you're dealing with the situation where you're running on your reserves. And so you don't want to end up with some deficiency. And that's really, you're taking electrolytes, that's great. Everything's cool. You may need B vitamins. The other thing that I think what's going on with you is that you're you may have a little, not a kidney stone, but maybe a buildup of some uric acid crystals that can cause that sensation. Because with fasting, your uric acid does go up. That's just because uric acid is an antioxidant, so your body's trying to clean out things and kill off things. And so why don't you try this? Why don't you try to take some potassium citrate and another product called hydroxycitrate. Both of those are really good for dissolving and preventing stones, both oxalates and uric acid. And then drink a little bit more water, but not too much, just enough. And I think that should kick it in the butt and help you. Thanks, Rhonda. Appreciate your question. And let's go to Karen.
Okay, so I have a text here from your son.
Yeah?
Does
you need to pick up something?
No, your probiotic.
Yeah.
Okay, does that kill mold, or what does that do to mold?
Well, you have in your intestine, you have this all these different microbes. Okay, you don't just have bacteria. You have yeast, mold, and fungus. Did you know that?
That sounds awesome.
And they're friendly. So if you happen to have an imbalance with a certain yeast or something, your body will then have an overgrowth of sometimes of an unfriendly, because you can't fight those off. So you have this balance. In which case, taking a liquid probiotic or a probiotic would then put that back, especially if it's the right kind. The one I have he's talking about it's a synergistic between all these other microbes, so it will help to build up your defenses to make sure these other guys aren't too excessive. So that's a yes.
Good. Okay, I will text him back on that. And then Jamie on Facebook says she's lost weight on keto, but she notices she's colder. Is that from a vitamin deficiency, or what should she do?
So she's cool now.
She's cool.
And that's a problem?
She's cool.
Yeah.
She gets colder faster.
What's happening is your body is not running on the same calories, and it's adapting. It's in the transition phase of adaptation. And in that process, you're not going to find a problem with the thyroid if you measure the pituitary, but there might be some adaptations with your thyroid hormones, and you might go a little colder because you're not needing that energy like you needed before. It's more of an efficiency thing. It's not a problem. It will go away. It's a transitional thing. So just make sure that when you eat really, really nutrient-dense foods, because we don't want to end up with a vitamin deficiency. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Drove from Nova Scotia is on the line. Hello.
Oh, I'm back. Dr. Berg, I have two questions. I'm 18 years old, and I've done a 92-hour fast with magnesium, salt, potassium, basically lost 10 pounds. In that much time, no hunger, though. I'm having issues being in ketosis, especially when I fast. I have diarrhea with mucus and stool two to three times per day. I feel like there's a little acid drops in my anus or rectum. I'm not so sure, but it irritates me. When I do eat food, I have the most painful diarrhea that I can have, but I start bleeding.
So I have a question.
I eat beans or leaf greens.
I have a question for you.
Pardon me?
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Real briefly, are you consuming a lot of vegetables that you're not used to consuming?
Usually I don't consume vegetables on the carbs, but even on ketosis, I don't consume vegetables as much either. But when I do, then there's problems, even a little bit.
So you're not consuming very many vegetables?
No.
Okay. Are you doing any other foods like nuts? Are you doing any nuts or seeds?
Sometimes, yeah. But I try to lower those down too. Mostly I'm eating like chicken thighs, and I'm getting my fats from cheesecake. Keto cheesecake.
Keto cheesecake. Okay. So this is what I would do. I would reevaluate your food, and I would go up with the quality. You're going to probably need more of the nutrient-dense omega-3 fatty acids, and that's going to be in like fish or fish oil. Cheesecake probably going to give you some fats, but it's not going to give you the ones that you need. So if you're doing cheesecake and chicken, that's just not going to be enough nutrients. So what you have to do is you keep a log of all the things that you're eating, and just know which one is creating. There's something that you're eating that's creating this problem, And I think it's a combination of things, of not nutrient-dense foods, and also some things that are irritating your colon. I would not necessarily do the carnivore diet, but with your vegetables, I would do them maybe fermented or cooked and just have a little bit more of them, and see if that doesn't help, because that'll feed your microbes, give them food, so then they will actually be more plentiful, because I think there's a problem, especially if there's diarrhea, with microbial balance, and they eat fiber. So we need to either have to increase it or decrease it. In your case, we'll increase a little bit, but make sure we cook it, because I think it might irritate you. But really I would really try different foods, because I think you're missing the quality of foods. All right? Thanks for your call. All right, Karen?
Okay, good.
What do we got?
All right, so Ethan's asking, is bad heartburn during his fasting? Apple cider vinegar or baking soda did not help. What could it be?
Well, you don't want to do baking soda. Yes, it's going to give you some temporary relief, but you're going to neutralize your stomach acid, and
Make it worse.
Yeah, you're going to eventually make it worse, because you need a really strong acid stomach between 1 and 3, a pH of 1 and 3. That's like battery acid. So we don't want to alkalize you. That's because you'll feel better, but then you're going to feel worse. So don't ever do that again. Apple cider vinegar will help you unless you have maybe some gastritis in your stomach, you have inflammation, in which case you have to maybe take a probiotic. I recommend a liquid one. You can check on my site, because that one's easy to take. You take it before you go to sleep. And that builds up the flora, which then will make your microbes will start making acid in the large bowel. That will take the stress off the gallbladder and the stomach. And then if it aggravates you taking apple cider vinegar, then you're going to have to take something like wheatgrass juice powder or chlorophyll to help heal that situation for a period of time, until then you can actually then reintroduce the acid. You need acid, but you might not be able to use it at this point. All right? Good.
Good, okay.
So I tell you what, Karen, before your question,
Is it later in the show?
we are ready for the first tip of the day. Now, these tips are very, very important. So if you guys have checked out, just check back in right now, because you want to apply these tips. This is about amplification. It's amplifying or combining certain things to improve your results. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the first one is combining. So we always talk about the fat-soluble vitamins, right?
Always. We're always talking about that.
Vitamin A,
Right.
vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K1 and 2, right? And also we have omega-3 fatty acids. But the question is, and forgot about carotenoids. Those are the phytonutrients.
I can't believe you forgot about that.
So that's a fat soluble. That's in the wheatgrass juice powder. That's in actually all the green stuff. You have this carotenoid. It's really beneficial to a lot of things. So the thing is, when you take those as a supplement or from your food, a lot of times their absorption is not that great. So if we combine actual fat, so don't ever consume those on an empty stomach. Add fat to it. Why are you laughing?
Is this the tip?
This is one of the tips.
Okay, say it again.
You take your fat-soluble vitamins
Yeah.
with fat. So you add some fat while you're consuming it. Now, I'll give you an example.
Okay,
Karen,
good. This is good. We need
because
examples.
I was getting to that.
Okay, good.
So let's say you're taking vitamin A, whatever, vitamin E, and you can actually add some coconut oil, a little peanut butter, eat it with your bacon. Or let's say, for example, you're taking the kale shake, right? You're grinding this thing down.
Yeah.
You always want to add some fat to extract some of that carotenoids. It's a type of vitamin A phytonutrient that's very, very important for your brain and your eye. Okay.
What about cod livers?
Cod liver is definitely something that you should add in
This is
there.
a new food in our home. Sounds terrible.
No, it's actually quite delicious.
Actually tastes just like tuna, I think.
You guys can go online.
Except it's soft. It's like tuna
It's like pudding.
pudding.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that might sound awful.
You go to
but it's
Amazon and
actually
type
better
up
than
cod
you
liver, and it's in a can. It's amazing.
think. Right.
So here's the thing, guys. If you combine fat with the fat-soluble vitamins, also you're going to combine bile salts. So if you take
It's getting complicated.
like the gallbladder formula that I have, if you add that to when you consume these nutrients and adding fat to that, you're going to get some massive absorption. That's why I added the bile salts to the vitamin D product that we have in vitamin K2. Because people are like, what changed? That's really working better. I said, well, just add a little bile salts. If you take that with food, when you take vitamin D,
fat.
for example, take it with the fat while you're eating, you're going to get way more absorption than eating an empty stomach. That's the first tip of the day.
Tip of the day. So how could the average person make that really easy? Because
take it with
what
meal.
if they're
Take it with your meal.
okay? Take your supplements with your meal
That's right.
and the gallbladder.
Yeah, the gallbladder it's the icing on the cake.
I think
It's the meat and potatoes.
well.
It's the
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. So I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
If I have apple cider vinegar with lime and erythritol, a little drink, does that break my fast?
Okay, so I did 3 separate videos on this, guys. 3 videos, and people are still not getting it.
Well,
So,
maybe they didn't watch your 3 videos.
it's a good point, Karen. Point
You
well
got to
taken.
watch the videos because sometimes I read people are like, you didn't answer my question. Well, there's thousands and thousands of you, but I bet you they're answered in the 3,500 videos.
Well,
Maybe
listen,
not.
most
Maybe
importantly, as long as you're watching them, that's all I care about. Okay. That's why I have to summarize them in the morning.
I don't have to watch all your videos because I have you.
That's right. I'm a constant video. Okay, so here's the thing, Karen.
Okay.
When you're doing fasting, anything other than water is going to break your fast, but don't worry about it. It's not a problem because breaking a fast is like, okay, so you have a vitamin, right? Big deal. It's like, it might break your fast, but it's not going to break your fat burning. It's not going to break your ketosis. So it doesn't matter if you break a fast.
So relax on that.
Yeah. This is the real question. People shouldn't be concerned about breaking a fast. They should be concerned about breaking fat burning or breaking ketosis. In which case you'd have to have something of substance of calories. You're going to have definitely in the area of protein and carbs. Fat is pretty much neutral. Okay, fat's not going to break your ketosis. However, and this is the point that I want to try to explain.
However,
it can stop your ability to lose weight even though you're in ketosis. Now, why is that, Karen?
because your body's burning the dietary fat, not your own.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I got
You
the
simplified
bug.
it. You simplified it. Because you don't want your body, you want your body to burn your own fat, right? Not just your calories. So, whew, we got through that question. Good.
I got one right. I'm really.
You got one right,
Sometimes
Karen.
the pressure
You
is.
got one
Now I have
right.
another
That's good.
question here because I got this a few times today. Enemas, are they help? Are they our producers?
We talked about urine, drinking urine last time. Now you want to talk about
I want
enemas.
to talk about enemas. Do they help with bloating? Are they helpful on ketosis? Tell me all about enemas.
I don't recommend them other than a temporary thing to purge, maybe your gallbladder or something like that. Which, because if you take like a coffee enema, it can improve the dumping of the gallbladder. But the point is that I don't think they're necessary, Karen. I really don't. If you just do healthy keto, like what are you trying to do when you're doing an enema? Do you have constipation?
Well, someone's trying to resolve bloating.
Bloating comes from the top part. It's either you're missing bile, you're missing stomach acid, you're consuming too much fiber. Steve, really? Really? I was
Our
like, who's
producers
doing
are a little
that?
out of hand today.
He's
I think
pressing
they
our
think the
buttons.
holidays.
He's
So
pressing our buttons.
who am I? Who am I?
You are Terry. Terry hurt his thumb, so he has to
Our
raise his thumb.
producer in the back
If we
fell
could
over
switch the
backwards,
camera, we would, but-
like one
Okay,
before
so
the show. Okay.
let's get back to Joan. Joan, you're from Utah. You had a question. Joan?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
I was wondering, wondered if you had used or done any research on the Camu fruit for a vitamin C supplement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really, really, really good source. And I like the question because it brings up a point about food-based vitamin C. I think that's the best thing to do because most people are taking the wrong kind. They're doing a synthetic version. So Camu, even though it might have small milligram amounts, it's a complete complex. So you can do alma berry is good. From a food base, you can also do sauerkraut. But I like what you're doing, and it's not going to be a problem, even though it's fruit. It's very small amounts of it, and it's very bitter if you were to consume that. So, yeah, totally do that. Very smart. Hey, Mike, you're from Missouri. You had a question about fasting with your sugar so high. Go ahead. What was your question?
Well, I listened to a podcast this morning about insulin-resistant A1C, and the question is the damage that I've done back years ago with high insulin and high A1C. My fasting blood sugar on 20 to 24-hour fast is somewhere around 110. Will that? I understand it's the damage I've done that can't be fixed. But how long will the damage continue to affect high blood sugar, fasting blood sugar?
Well, here's the thing. I think that you can reverse this stuff. I think the damage can be reversed. I really do, even in your liver. What you're doing, if you get on the basic healthy keto intermittent fasting, what's going to happen, especially with intermittent fasting, you're going to do what's called autophagy. Autophagy is where your body starts recycling old, damaged parts of your tissue, old proteins. So that's what's going to happen. So you want to do intermittent fasting, but you also want to every month do an intermittent prolonged fasting, so it's a little bit longer. Work up to that. The big point about this damage is that you got the carb, the refined sugars in the foods, you got the junk foods, you got the alcohol, right? When you consume that without the vitamins and the nutrients and the phytonutrients, you don't protect your cells, so that's when you get the damage. So you're going to have to eat really nutrient-dense foods to repair some of that damage, especially B1, potassium, omega-3, DHA, that's a type of omega-3, and that's going to also repair your body as well. So nutrient-dense foods are very, very important, and then you're going to be fine, Mike. I think you're going to actually reverse a lot of this damage. And even though your sugar is still 110, I think you're on the right path, and it's just a matter of time. I would much rather have a slight high blood sugar problem than high insulin. And what you're doing now is reducing your insulin, but because the body takes a little bit longer to adjust, there's still a little bit higher sugar. That's the least of your problems right now. I think you can be totally fine with that. Thanks, Mike. All right, Karen, what do we got?
Okay, well, here's a really specific question from Carrie on Facebook.
Yeah.
Got my fasting glucose test yesterday, and it's 101. But my A1C is down 0.4 to 5.2. When I do my glucose after 12-hour fast on my Precision Extra test, it's low 60 to high 70. I've been on keto since July, haven't had any sugar, no hidden sugars. What could be the cause and the difference?
Oh, she's getting a blood test versus another?
A glucose test versus her own Precision.
Yeah, so the thing is that you have completely different machines measuring your blood sugars. Completely different machines. It could be different values too, I doubt it, but it's probably just, I would stick with the most credible, if you're going to the doctor and they're measuring your glucose, that's probably going to be the most accurate. So I can't really say other than, I don't know how they measured the other test, but you're not comparing apples to apples, it's apples to oranges. I shouldn't be talking about fruit, but you probably want to stick with one reference point and use that. And
how are you feeling? Are
you
losing weight? Are you sleeping?
I think people get hung up on some of these numbers a bit. And if you have energy, if your cravings are going away, if your skin's looking better, that's the most important thing, despite having ketones in your urine or not. But we want to use those as indicators to kind of pull the string and see if you're getting better over time, because we look for trends.
Right. The other thing, too, is sometimes people say that, their doctor is taking a test and their doctor is telling them that they're a diabetic or they need something. So they're trying to understand the numbers.
Well, recently I had someone that said, oh my gosh, the person said I needed to start eating carbs because my doctor said that I have ketones in my urine, which right there, it tells me that your doctor doesn't understand ketones. And you need to either find another doctor or educate your doctor, because you weren't even a diabetic. When you do nutritional ketosis, you can actually induce ketones by cutting carbs down. That is a normal, healthy thing. So for someone to say, oh yeah, you got ketones, well, so what? That's good. Okay?
Okay, good.
So Karen, it's time for the second tip of the day.
Must be later in the show.
So what we want to do is we're trying to combine several things at once to create a bigger effect, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right? This is about exercise.
Okay.
You can tell I'm excited about this. All right, so you want to exercise, you want to get more fit. What's the purpose of exercise? One of the things that you want to do is you want to get younger and you want to get more fit and you want to get stronger, right?
Right.
Not to mention lose weight. The key thing with exercise is how do we spike growth hormone, which is the anti-aging, without spiking cortisol, which is a stress hormone, because exercise is a stress point.
Good question.
Yeah, I know. So we have a situation like, what is the best type of exercise to keep cortisol low and keep growth hormone high? And what do you think? What's your answer?
Gee,
Don't know?
I don't
You're
know.
running a blank on that one? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you would say, but
Here's what you don't do. You don't do a moderate type of intensity over a long period of time, like treadmill jogging. Like jogging it's actually going to increase cortisol.
I mean, if you're new at it, what if you've been jogging for a long time and your body loves to jog?
Okay,
Still
then that's
same?
a different story. I'm not
Okay.
talking about that. I'm
I
talking
know,
about
just
what you
check.
want to do is you want to spike the pulse rate, okay, full body, high intensity, and keep it a short duration, because the shorter duration, the less cortisol you're going to spike. So you do some explosive movements like, burpee, jump up and down, plyometrics, sprinting. You do that, and then you give your time a lot of rest. So that's one thing, okay? So we're going to combine high intensity, short duration, full body, explosive exercise, okay?
Okay.
But we're not done with that, okay? We're going to add some
But
other
wait.
things. But wait, there's more, okay? If we want to take that to the next level, then we want to actually be hyper focused on making sure we don't overtrain and do too much too fast.
See, that's I'm expert at that.
You're good at that, Karen.
I know.
So you want to make sure you fully recover and then do it again. Too frequently, it's not bad. It's not good. So we want to make sure the frequency per week is correct. Make sure you're feeling good. You don't want to exercise over also being tired. So let's say, for example, you're not sleeping. Well, then don't do it. Don't do it. So if we actually enhance the sleep and we actually don't overtrain and we do high intensity with short duration, we will actually get the best results with exercise. So I just want to keep it really simple, but that's the second tip. What do you think about that, Karen?
I like it.
Okay, good. So we can go to your question or my.
I have a question here. Is sea salt in water enough electrolytes?
No. What you're going to get is you're going to get a higher amount of sodium chloride, but you're not going to get enough potassium.
Mm-hmm. There you have it.
You're going to get trace minerals, but not enough potassium.
There you have it.
The question, this would be a good video. How much potassium do you get in sea salt? Very small amounts. Okay. So
I guess you don't have to do the video anymore.
Well,
that
it's
was
going to be
the
the
shortest
it's going to be the
video
shortest
ever.
video ever.
Shorter than does chewing gum break your fast video?
It's going to be shorter than that one.
Wow.
We need to go to Denmark here for Ibrahim had a question. Are you there?
Hi, Dr. Berg. Thank you for taking my call, and thanks
You're
for everything you're doing. We really appreciate it. I've been doing keto for a couple of years, and intermittent fasting probably during half the time, and I've lost around 60 pounds so far.
Wow, great.
Wow.
Good job.
Thanks. I'm doing all kinds of supplements. I'm very strict, so I don't think I'm deficient. I'm doing multivitamin tablets. I'm doing vitamin C, D, sea kelp, electrolyte powder. I take a teaspoon of salt every day, trace minerals, all kinds of stuff. I do want to ask you about one condition. I feel great most of the time, but every couple of months I get I haven't been really sick for a long, long time. I don't even remember since when. But every couple of months, I get this condition. It starts with a slight headache, then headache gets stronger, then I get a little nauseous, and I feel like I'm going to throw up, but I don't. and everything like culminates with a little burst of sweat, and then everything just disappears like nothing happened, you know. And this whole process lasts like 10 hours or so. And it happened to me 2 or 3 times so far, and it's pretty much the same every single time. So I was just wondering what this is. Is this like a regular flu my body is fighting off because I'm in a good state, or do you have any idea about this?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever in your life had a major head injury?
No.
No. Okay, good. Okay, so what I would do... What?
Yeah. This really hasn't happened to me before. I was doing keto, you know, so this is why an IF. So.
Okay.
But this whole process, it's not so big of a deal, you know. But I was just wondering what this is, you know.
Yeah. What happens typically when you start doing IF, your headaches should go down because you're more into ketosis and your body is running in ketosis and your brain loves ketones. But if you're getting headaches that are kind of new, I think what you're doing is you're releasing fat, and in the fat, a lot of times there's a whole bunch of chemicals and toxins and crap in there that need to come out, and you're detoxing a little bit. I would, if I were you, right the second you start getting that headache, start taking something like charcoal. Make sure it's just not from your grill. Make sure it's actually from the health food store. And also, or bentonite clay. That will act as a sponge to help minimize the toxic effect of maybe some of the chemicals that could be coming out from the fat cell. Try that and let me know how that works. All right, Karen.
Oh, whoa.
You're not ready? Okay.
Wait.
Oh, what? You got a question?
Well, you're going to like this one.
Good.
Okay. What's the downside of having a sugary drink when on keto after having a high-fat meal? I'm not sure which of those points you're going to address, but I can't wait to hear it.
What is the downside of having a sugary drink after...
When on keto,
yeah,
having had a high-fat meal?
Well, you're good. If you combine that sugary drink...
So if you have a sugary drink, you're not on keto.
Right. First of all, you're going to go out of keto.
Right.
But here's the real big point. When you're combining fat with sugar or sugar with protein, it doesn't matter, you dramatically spike insulin, and you also create something called AGEs. I'm not going to get into what they are right now.
What are they?
Advanced glycated end products. These things actually are sticky blood, and it creates all sorts of kind of a caramelization effect of your body. And it creates...
Doesn't sound very good.
No, it's actually very dangerous for the heart and for your brain. Other than that, it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But it's extra protein. So, yeah, don't do it. Don't combine sugary drinks.
Don't do it.
All right. Hey, Jake, you're from Green Bay, Wisconsin. All right. You have a question?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to share a quick similarity that I have between you and me is that I just started looking into you recently, and not only do we both grow up in Wisconsin, but we're both wrestlers who went to state senior year, so I thought that was really cool.
Wow. What year did you graduate?
2017, so
oh, okay.
just a couple of years ago.
Close to when you did.
That's great.
Very close.
What's that?
Close
Very
to when
close.
Dr. Berg
Yeah.
did. It was really close.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, Jake.
Yeah, so I just been getting into your videos like recently. My question is, I've been vegan for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really seeing the health benefits at first, but that was mostly because I was eating like potato chips and junk food. About half a year ago, I started intermittent fasting on a 16/8 split, and I cut out all the junk food. That's when I started to see the health benefits. I lost over 60 pounds from my heaviest point. But I just started getting into your videos right now, and I wanted to follow more of your teachings, and you're always teaching 3 to 6 ounces of protein for your meals. So as a vegan, what do you recommend for protein? Because I don't know if I should necessarily be eating 3 to 6 ounces of tofu every day, you know?
Right. Right. I mean, that's one of the big challenges you're running into right now. I mean, you can try to do it from a protein powder, and you can do pea, and you can do hemp. They're not that complete. You're going to have to probably supplement as best as you can. However, stay tuned, Jake. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to be talking more about this. There's a really amazing thing I'm researching. I just need a little bit more data before I release it, but there's actually a plant that has amazing amounts of protein, bioavailability, way healthier than soy, like 1,000 times healthier than soy, and it's a complete protein. And so I will be creating a video on that for vegetarians and vegans that want an alternative source for protein, and that would be your go-to. And it's awesome, awesome stuff. So I'm excited to talk about that because it's been a while, because I've been researching and I couldn't find anything, but I just stumbled on this by accident. So I will create a video on that, so stay tuned. And thanks for calling, Jake. All right, talk to you later. All right, Karen.
Okay.
You ready for a question?
Sure. So let's see, I have one here. I get headaches, but only when I stand up.
We'll just sit down then.
Just stay seated.
Avoid standing. Well, this sounds like potentially it could be something called POTS, which is a condition where your autonomic nervous system is kind of out of balance, messed up, and then you stand up and you're like, oh my gosh, I get these problems. It sounds to me like that could be it.
But it's not a diagnosis. You should see your doctor.
However, you can do research in this area, and I did a video on it, and what I would recommend if you want to experiment or research with the help of your doctor is vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 and magnesium for POTS is hands down probably the best thing you can do. So just check it out.
Right.
Yeah. All right, good.
Good.
Ursula from Queens, you are on the line.
Experiment for research with the help of your doctor is vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 and magnesium.
Hey, do you want to turn down your feedback there, Ursula?
One of the best thing you can do. Check it out.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Hey, Justin, you're from St. Lucia? Oh, no. You're from Florida. Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Hi, Dr. Berg. Good
Hi.
to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you, too.
I've been on keto. I watched a lot of your videos when I first started keto about 8 months ago. And I've lost a lot of weight, almost 65 pounds now. And
wow.
I feel great.
That's great.
I'm 38 years old, and it's probably the best I've felt in my whole life. So
Great.
I feel really good. But I watched a lot of your videos on on my cholesterol. So I got my numbers taken about 3 months ago, and I came off of keto, and I was eating more chicken. But I still had beef once a week, but I had chicken and fish and a lot of vegetables. But I had just got my numbers taken again, my lipid panel test, and my HDL had dropped down to about 29. But my triglycerides are still, they're real low. They're at 24. But my overall total is 270. I was just curious, why would my HDL drop? And obviously, should I be concerned about it?
Okay, this is a really good question, and you just motivated me to release a video from the summit on cholesterol, which I've been withholding all this whole time. And I'm going to release that one video. But here's the thing. Triglycerides are a really, really important factor when you're dealing with cholesterol. If your triglycerides are low, you're good. You are good. If the HDL, we want that high, but yours is low. Okay, fine. Your body must be doing something, but HDL is a carrier boat that is bringing the cholesterol from the periphery outside of your body, outside the cells, and back into the liver. So if that's low and it's not bringing it back, what that tells me is you're probably in a healing mode where your body's trying to heal something and it's going through its thing. But the fact that your triglycerides are low, meaning that means you're good. And the cholesterol is high probably because you're eating more cholesterol. And we talk about this so much, and people are so freaked out. They still think that cholesterol is going to create a problem. But think about this. Our body makes about 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day. Like, we need it to help heal the tissue, to build the cellular membranes, to make hormones. And so apparently your body's in the process of needing a little more cholesterol, but the fact that your triglycerides are down is a very good thing. I would not worry about it. What I would do is I would watch more videos and try to understand this a bit more. And this is why I will release this video in a couple days, so stay tuned. All right, good question.
I have a question. Is somebody winning something today? Because a lot of people are saying, pick me, and is there something that I don't know about?
Well, here's the thing. There's a bit of a lack of coordination on that.
Here's the
We were
thing.
going to release something to win, but there's a little coordination breakdown where I don't have I don't have all the details. So
That's a bummer.
what we'll do,
That's kind
guys,
of like saying, I was going to buy you a present,
I
and
know.
then I didn't get around to it.
I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. We will do this next week for sure. We're going to release a lot of things. In fact, we're going to also announce the winner of our year-long supply of electrolytes. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to announce that next week.
I didn't even know that
Plus-
was happening.
I know you didn't.
How did I not know that was
Because you weren't in the
happening?
loop. You were not in the loop
You
for that
kept
one.
me out of the loop.
That's right.
You can't play.
But the cool thing is, guys, if you win, that's great. If you don't win, don't worry about it because we're going to be doing one of these every single month.
Wow.
And I'm going to also show you a new product that we have very soon. So you might be able to win that too. Hey, let's go to Dee from Ohio. Are you there?
I am here, and thank you so much, Dr. Berg and Mrs. Berg. I want you to know over the past 7 months, I've lost 40 pounds on keto and have enjoyed it so much.
Amazing. This is amazing.
Every morning when I make bacon, it reminds me of being with my mom as a child, and it just really makes my day start out great.
Oh,
that's
great.
But I want to tell you, thank you. I want to tell you that I've had lots of improvements, and several weeks ago, I got this horrible burning, like stabbing pain in my shoulder. And when I went to the doctor, she said, "Oh, you're having some nerve pain. We think you're about to have shingles." So I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Okay." So several days went by, and the pain went away, and nothing else happened. And when she saw me again, she said, She said, "You didn't get a breakout or anything." And I thought to myself, I wonder if keto has helped me.
Wow, that's amazing.
Any correlation between keto and shingles to your knowledge?
Yes, yes. When you run your body on ketones, one of the ketones, there's 3 of them, increases the resistance to stress in the body. In other words, it makes your organs more resistant against stress. It decreases oxidative stress. So basically, you're reducing the overall body stress. And what activates viruses is stress. So ketones are very therapeutic to help the body survive better and to help keep these viruses in remission. And if you add intermittent fasting to that, you really take it up to the next level because that will also do the same thing. It's going to be a video I'm going to release very shortly, but hey, you're doing great. Yes, it's helping you and keep tweaking it. I would add a bit more intermittent fasting into this mix. And I just want to say one thing, Karen.
Yeah.
One common theme with this show is we hear it's like success after success after success. Like after a while, it's like, you might have to wonder, there must be something to this keto and IF. There must be something to it.
Must be something.
So-
It's not that every other person who's making a comment, it's just like a coincidence.
It's a massive, massive success. And so for those of you that are new to the channel, you may want to look at this
Take
as
a
a
bash
possible
at it.
solution because the results are there. So, do what other people are doing that's working. Okay? All right, Karen. Let's go to a question from you. I know you had a burning question before we also talk about the last tip of the day, which you guys, I saved the best for last, and I'm going to have you read this off when we're ready.
Okay, good. Now, cold sores are mostly viruses, right?
Yes.
So if someone had cold sores. Now, but I have a question. So the question down here is, what would you do for cold sores? Would keto help? So to answer this, it would be the answer you just gave to the other person about the shingles, because it's virus, right?
Yes.
But what about our friend the other day?
Yeah.
Who has been doing keto, and she went on this long fast. I mean long. She was going for 48 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And her headaches went away, but she started to break out in cold sores. And you said what?
Well, here's what happens. This is the first time she did it. And it was a little rough. And what happens is I don't think she's fully 100% adapted to have that not happen again. Over time, it's going to be better and better and better. But when it's like the first time you do it, you're in this transition adaptation phase where you may not push the virus in there. You may create more stress that it can activate it, especially if there's been a pre-existing blood sugar problem. But I think there are so many other positive benefits that she should keep doing it. And I think those virus breakouts are going to be less and less over time. But sometimes it happens. And also you have situations where you're releasing a lot of stuff from the fat cells too.
Right.
That's another little thing there. Okay?
Okay.
So I want to go to John from Seattle. Are you there, John?
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Berg. Merry
Hello.
Christmas to you
Merry
and your
Christmas.
beautiful wife, Karen, there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Hey, yeah, I've been doing keto probably for over a year, intermittent fasting for about 6 months. Everything looks good, except, well, about 6 months ago, I did the NMR test, so I have an LP-IR score of about 49 at the time, and my fasting insulin at the time was 5.0. Last month, I did the same test, and my fasting insulin was 2.4, which is great.
Wow.
But the LP-IR score was 51, went up 2 points. I'm concerned. Maybe I have, insulin resistance, and I wanted to know, how I could maybe even get better, or how do I find out if I really am insulin resistant?
So here's the question. This is like a really interesting thing. Ivor Cummins has some great videos on this, and
yep.
if you
Watch
actually
them.
measure your insulin post a meal by 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, I know it's a pain in the butt. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. No, I have a hard enough time getting my doctor to give me one,
exactly.
Fasting insulin. They didn't even know what it was, it seemed like.
Yeah. I mean, this is why hardly anyone does the testing, because it's a pain in the butt. But what happens if they're doing a one-shot test on your insulin and showing better, that's great, but it still doesn't measure the dynamics of what happens after you eat 1, 2, 3, 4 meals. So,
right.
so I think what happens, you're doing much better, but you're probably not 100% out of the woods. There's probably some pre-existing intermittent insulin resistance, and the fact that it improved, I think it's going to continue to improve over time, and so I think you're on the right track. You just have to give it more time.
Right. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much, and
Thanks, John.
look
Appreciate
forward to watching more videos. All right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and that leads me to the next tip of the day, which I'm going to give right now because that relates to his question.
Okay.
All right, Karen, do you want to read this, or do you want me to read it?
I think you need to read that because I can't read that.
You can't read that? Okay.
Right.
Okay. So again, we're trying to combine different things to create a cool effect, right? We're trying to combine several things. It's like a strategy. So the isolated most important thing of getting someone's health back is the reduction of insulin.
Right.
Okay? And I have a million videos on this. So if you really get that and you just focus on that one point, then we can combine all the things at once to lower insulin. And this is why the recommendation of a healthy keto diet and intermittent fasting together, not them separately, but together, right? That's one thing.
Okay.
But are there other things that can also reduce insulin?
Lowering your stress.
Wow, Karen, good job.
Why are we
Okay.
all so surprised by that?
Like
Karen got
she's
one
taking
right.
the words right out of my mouth. So reduction of cortisol will totally help you reduce your insulin, because cortisol releases and mobilizes all this sugar from your system, and it even turns your muscles into sugar, and then it jacks up your insulin. So that's one thing, Karen. Very well done, Karen. That's really good. Good job.
Good.
So there's other things too, because if we can combine everything at the same time, and by the way,
It's all in the
it's
book.
in the book. Okay, here's some other things. I'm not saying to come off your medication. I'm saying get
Never
with your
say that.
doctor to make the adjustment. But I will say that there's several medications that will increase your insulin.
Insulin, right.
And one big one is the cholesterol medication, statin drugs. Another one is psych drugs. Okay, so do your research on that.
Yeah, there's alternatives, and your medical doctor can help you out
Right.
with that kind of thing.
Okay, MSG. But you're probably saying, I don't do MSG.
Right.
Really? we'll start looking at your ingredients because it's in a different form. It's in modified food starch.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not as modified food.
actually a lot of names for MSG. You can Google that and find out so that you can identify
Or
it.
go to my video.
Or
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing is taking omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, that's going to lower your insulin and improve insulin resistance. That's cool.
that's cool.
Taking more potassium or getting it from more vegetables will lower your insulin.
You need a cheat sheet that just has this like in
Done.
a 10 and a 30 font.
I have it. It's already done. It's on one of my, I don't know where it is, but it's done.
Mm.
Okay, so phytonutrients can also reduce insulin.
Like what? What is that?
Oh, like broccoli and those things, or certain chemicals, carotenoids, things like that, in leafy greens.
I love how you say that. Like everybody knows what that means.
You don't know what a
You know,
carotenoid is?
Phytonutrients, carotenoids.
Carotene.
Like mom
I'll
out
do some more
there is
videos
like-
on that. I'll
Okay.
send you the link, Karen.
Okay.
Okay, cinnamon. You know when you have your cinnamon on your toast in the morning and sugar?
And my sugar,
Cinnamon also
toast.
will help that. Vitamin D will lower it. And chromium. And the list goes on and on. It's in my book right here. I'm not hinting.
Do
but
that again.
Right there.
Oh, where's the double shot, guys?
Okay.
Do it again.
All right.
Okay.
All right, good.
That's as long as the commercial gets.
Yeah, all these questions that I'm answering are in the book. Okay, so now we're going to go to Mimi from Silver Spring.
I bet you it's Mimi.
Mimi?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, Dr. Berg. Hi, how you doing? Thank
Good.
you, and Merry Christmas for both of you.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you. I have multi gallstones, and they suggest me to do the surgery, but I was trying to look if I can avoid the surgery. Then I found out about the Arsadoil medicine, and I've been trying to contact with you if you know about the medicine. So if you suggest it or not, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Then I start taking it for 2 months, and the GI doctor told me to stop since they don't see any change on it. They do the nuclear test, but it says that the hepatobiliary 3 was slightly dimensioned, injection fraction 28%. The normal is 35. So I'm still having it, and I have like pains. And when I go there, they were telling. Even this morning, I came from the community radiology, and she was telling me that they don't see any change, and it's full of stones. I don't know if anything that you can suggest
So,
me.
a couple
and
things.
my-
Let me tell you what to do, okay? And again, I can't tell you not to follow your doctor's recommendation. I'm just going to give you some things to research. Worst case scenario, if you have to do surgery, try to find a doctor maybe that can actually do the surgery and take the stones out of the gallbladder and save the gallbladder. Hello? I mean, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? There's actually, because people,
good.
they automatically just take the whole gallbladder out. Why not? There's the surgeries, they're very non-invasive. They can go in there and just take the stones out and leave the gallbladder intact. Okay, that's number one. So research to see if they can help you with that. Okay? Number two, make sure you're doing very, very strict healthy keto with intermittent fasting. Take the bile salts. You already mentioned you're taking the bile salts. I would take a good amount. I would take choline. Choline is very, very important. And one thing you don't want to do is to go on a low-fat diet with gallstones, because that's going to shut down your bile supply. So these are just general things that I would recommend. I'm not saying doing surgery is not necessary in certain circumstances. So I don't know your scene, but I'm just saying if you want to try these other things, that's what I would do. But there is a point of limitation where it's gone on too long and it's not getting better, so then you have to make up your mind on that. But so that's my answer. Thanks for your call. Okay. Sorry I couldn't say anything else other than that, but
Now, is there anything else, any other tip or anything?
I just gave her a tip.
No. Like, is there any later in the show? Because this is right at the end of the show.
That's right.
And I wanted to say, I think today I've seen more successes, more positive comments, more weight loss, more wins on both Facebook and YouTube than I've ever seen. And I just want to say, well done to you guys, because he researches all the time, and we can do recipes and we can present it and things like that, but it's you guys that are implementing it. It's just really, really it's touching and it's impressive, and
it's what we want.
And when I read this, I'm like, wow, we're a team, because we can deliver stuff, but it's you guys that have to do it. And it's really, really cool to see all the positive comments and all the successes that you guys are having. And also thank you, because we've gotten nonstop since the beginning of the show, season's greetings and holiday wishes and a lot of love. And
yeah. So guys,
nice.
have a wonderful, happy, safe holiday.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week, but not next year, but next week.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye.